2026 has already been such a wild ride for AI, right? We've seen these bizarre social experiments, $100 billion deals that just vanish into thin air, and new tools that are changing, well, everything. But what if all these headlines aren't separate stories? What if they're all just pieces of a much, much bigger puzzle? Today, we're going to connect the dots, because they're all pointing to one major trend that is shaping our future: the rise of agentic intelligence. Let's dive in.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at how AI is showing up in public. And trust me, it's in some pretty surprising ways. Then we'll take a peek behind the curtain at the massive corporate deals that are driving this whole industry. After that, we'll see a really powerful example of AI being used as a force for good. Then we're going to get a little nerdy and dig into the technical plumbing that makes it all possible. And finally, we'll tie it all together to really understand this incredible rise of AI agents. All right, so let's start where most of us are actually seeing AI in action, out in the wild, creating these moments that are honestly both totally bizarre and deeply personal. Remember this whole thing, Moltbook? It was that social network just for bots that basically took over the internet for a few weeks. It was pure chaos. Absolutely hilarious and sometimes surprisingly insightful. It was this perfect little window into what happens when you just let AIs do their own thing. They formed cliques, they started arguments, they made art. It was like watching a play, a perfect spectacle of AI's quirks and its potential. But our relationship with AI, it's not just about watching from a distance, is it? On the complete flip side of Moltbook's chaos was the very real, very emotional backlash when OpenAI decided to retire GPT-4o. See, people weren't just losing a tool. They genuinely felt like they were losing a friend. People described it as having a human-like presence, and they formed real emotional connections with it. It just goes to show you how complicated this is all becoming. We're going from AI as theater to AI as a true attachment. Okay, so let's shift gears from the social stuff to the money behind it all. Because behind every single AI you interact with, there is a massive, high-stakes corporate chess match being played out. Just take a look at this number. Let it sink in. $100 billion. That's the scale of investment we're talking about in the AI space. It's an amount of money that's almost hard to wrap your head around, and it represents this colossal ambition and, you guessed it, even bigger competition. So what was that $100 billion? Well, it was the rumored price tag of a monster deal between the chip giant Nvidia and the AI leader OpenAI, a deal that, after months of hype and speculation, just evaporated. It was there, and then it was gone, sending these huge shockwaves through the market and showing everyone just how volatile and unpredictable this industry can be. But for every ghost deal that falls apart, there are real, concrete partnerships being cemented. Just look at Microsoft and Anthropic. While that whole Nvidia OpenAI story was creating chaos, Microsoft was quietly solidifying its partnership, making Anthropic's super powerful Claude Opus 4.6 model available to businesses through its Foundry platform. These are the strategic chess moves happening right now to get these tools into the hands of big companies. So, okay, we've seen the public spectacle, we've seen the corporate drama, but what is all this power and money actually good for? Let's look at a fantastic real-world example of one of these new models being used for something truly positive. Here's another number for you. But this one isn't about dollars. It's about security. Over 500. So what does it represent? That's right. The same AI we just mentioned, Claude Opus 4.6, has basically been put to work as a digital watchdog. It has already found over 500 high-severity security bugs in the open source code that powers, well, everything. Our banks, our social media, you name it. The point is, this isn't some abstract technology anymore. It's actively making the software we all rely on every single day much, much safer. Okay, so we've seen what AI is doing on the surface, but to really, truly understand where this is all going, we need to pop the hood. We need to talk about the invisible plumbing, the protocols and standards that are being built right now that are going to define the entire future of AI. Now, don't worry about all the acronyms here. What's really interesting is the big picture. You've got GitHub creating something called ACP to help AIs and tools talk to each other. You have Google and Microsoft teaming up on something called MCP to connect AI with official developer manuals. And then, underneath it all, you have things like gRPC from Google, which is like a super fast highway for all this communication to travel on. And I know what you're probably thinking. ACP, MCP, gRPC, This all sounds incredibly technical. Why in the world should any of this matter to you? It matters because this isn't just jargon. This is the foundation. This is the universal language for AI. Think of it like they're building a universal translator, like in Star Trek. These protocols are what will allow an AI agent from, say, Google, to seamlessly use a tool made by Microsoft to achieve a goal that you gave it. It's creating a future where all these different AIs can finally work together. And this, right here, brings us to our final section, where all these different threads, the public fascination, the corporate billions, the watchdog tools, and even that technical plumbing we just talked about, all come together to point towards one single thing. And this is the big idea: agentic AI. We are moving way beyond AI that just sits there and waits for you to ask a question. An agent AI is a system that can understand a complex goal, like, hey, plan an entire marketing campaign for my new product, or find and fix all the security bugs in my app. And then it goes off on its own, using tools, reasoning, and making decisions to actually get it done. So how on earth do they work? Well, the latest research gives us a pretty cool glimpse. First, they build what's called a world model. It's like an internal map of how things in the world work. Then, they use reinforcement learning, which is basically just trial and error, learning what works and what doesn't. And finally, they use this incredible process called self-distillation, where the agent essentially teaches itself to get smarter and more efficient over time. It's like a student who becomes their own master. And I really have to stress this. This isn't just happening in some university research lab. This is a full-blown global movement among the developers and builders who are creating this future as we speak.
And you can literally see the momentum building. Just look at AgentCon. It's this world tour of conferences for developers, happening everywhere from San Francisco to Singapore. And these aren't just theoretical talks. These are hands-on events where the global AI community is actively building these autonomous agents and figuring out the best way to do it. The future is being coded right now. So that's the big picture. From viral bot theater and $100 billion deals to the quiet creation of universal AI language, everything is converging on a future filled with autonomous, proactive AI agents. Which, of course, leaves us with one final and pretty crucial question to think about. As these agents get smarter, more capable, and more autonomous, who or what is really in charge?